the Pistol Shrimp. Do the Pistol Shrimp.
Welcome to the Shrimply Good podcast, the podcast for Pistol Shrimp Baseball. I'm Lucas Burris. Next to me is Jayce Eustice, and welcome to episode 3 of the 2023 season of the Shrimply Good podcast. Jayce, it's been a while, but it's good to have you back here in podcast form.
Yeah, no, it's been interesting. And as we were kind of talking about before we went on air here, at the amount of games that we were able to miss, but just kind of going through the Pistol Shrimp season, it's been a weird one. We talked about that in the first couple of episodes. It's continued, and we'll be sure to, recap some of them and also set you guys up for what's to come here in this Prospect League season as well.
Yeah, it's been 17 games since we've graced you here on YouTube for a Shrimply Good podcast. Last time the Pistol Shrimp were 2-5. We had just completed the first week of the season. We weren't sure what was ahead other than it had been a wild first week. And just a quick recap, it has continued to stay that wild. So it's just been crazy from one-run games to walk-offs to blowouts. We've had like maybe 4 real normal games, and normal meaning it wasn't a one-run contest, there wasn't a walk-off, or someone didn't win by 10 runs. I think there's been 4 of those.
There's been I think you can definitely count them on one hand, just kind of those traditional 5-2 ball games, something like that. We had not seen a lot of those.
Our first one of the year is right after we had finished the first podcast, and we had done it like I think it was normal on like a Sunday or whatever that week, and I was like, we just played. Oh, that was the week. It was actually after we had got walked off by normal. So we walked off by normal, and then we played normal, and it was 5-2 exactly, and we lost. But I was like, you know what? It was a normal game.
That's all right.
I'll take it. So it's been a wild Pistol Shrimp season, but the exciting part after we've missed a few of weeks, one podcast because we don't have off days that much, so we're coming to you when we can. And we just played 10 games in 11 days, or 11 games in 10 days is what that made more sense. 11 games in 10 days. So we're coming to you now. But the weird part about the season is, since we've got all the wacky and wild behind us, we can just move on to the second half because that's where we're talking to you right now. It's coming in a few days. But what you need to know is the Pistol Shrimp are 8-9 since we last spoke after starting the year 2-5. And they've already lost out in the first half title. The Clinton Lumber Kings clinched the Great River Division with a 14-9 record. So the Pistol Shrimp, they're out of it in the first half. There's 3 games left. We'll get to those 3 games this week. We'll get to this whole week's schedule as well. But Lumber Kings, first half title winners. So the Pistol Shrimp, if they want that second half title, they're heading to Clinton, Jayce.
Yeah, absolutely. And, credit to Clinton. They really started off and kind of got those wins early on, started to stack it up against some teams that were still trying to figure it out. So you got to give credit for them for kind of locking that one early. And as you mentioned, that first half ends July 2nd. I mean, that when that day comes, after all the days are completed on that Sunday, July 2nd, it is a fresh start for the Pistol Shrimpers. They're going to be looking to, like you said, going to be looking to lock up that second half title, exactly what they did last year. Obviously, it was a different division with Danville and them going back and forth pretty much the entire season, but they're going to have an opportunity to go out there, clinch that playoff spot, and then, like you said, take that trip to Clinton and go out there for a playoff series.
Yeah, and the way the Lumber Kings are playing, they had the second best record in the league. Now they have the third best record. It's a similar spot if you're looking at the Lumber Kings to what we saw the Dans last year. The idea was never to chase the Dans after they won the first half title. You were just trying to be better than everybody else. So that's what the Pistol Shrimp will do in the second half. But, credit to the Pistol Shrimp. They're going to probably finish in second place at the end of this first half. They're in third right now, but Quincy and Pistol Shrimp are going back and forth. Burlington's kind of behind them. They've been in the second place in that Great River Division for most of the first half. So they kind of have what I would say the upper hand against these teams. But the tough part for the Shrimp is they've seen the Bees a lot, but they haven't seen the Gems or the Lumber Kings too much this season. So we are loaded in the second half with some divisional matchups here for the Pistol Shrimp and some exciting ones as well in the second half. But as you mentioned, the first half will end July 2nd. We'll restart on July 3rd. And what I was trying to say there as well is, if you remember from last season, we're chasing the Dans, like you said, but we're just trying to be better than the other 2 teams in the division, and that's the Gems and the Bees. So that's what the Pistol Shrimp will look to do, and the hope is to face Clinton in that Great River Division championship. So the same thing that Pistol Shrimp went through last year when they beat Dans in that huge game at Danville right after the end of the season. It's the same schedule this year. The season will end the next day if the Pistol Shrimp can grab that second half title, or second half second place behind the Clinton Lumber Kings. It's all the same. They just have to be better than the other 2 teams in the second half. Remember, not overall. We'll still talk about overall records, but we'll just look at the second half. So just looking to go to Clinton, and the Pistol Shrimp have a pretty good record at Clinton over the past 3 years in the league. We just lost in an exhibition earlier this week, but it's an exhibition game. Neither team really threw out their stars, is what I'll say. Clinton didn't throw a single starter out in that game. They put 2 pitchers in the lineup. So if you're wondering how that exhibition went, but so the Pistol Shrimp, that's really the what you need to know. The Pistol Shrimp, they're chasing the Lumber Kings in the first half. They've lost that chase, so now they're going to look to be better than the Bees and the Gems.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you kind of look at the way that the schedule is set up, as you mentioned, a lot of games in the second half against Quincy could be really good for the Pistol Shrimp if you're able to go out there and perform well against them. And also, their 2 biggest road trips that they're going on this season, they're kind of doing it here at the end of this first half, and then a couple of off days with that exhibition 2 mixed in. So hopefully the Pistol Shrimp, are going to have a couple games right there towards the end. We'll see kind of what the lineups look like. See if manager John Jakovic is out there just trying to see what he has with a couple of arms, or kind of how he decides to manage those. But the Pistol Shrimp are setting themselves up. We're kind of the toughest part of their schedule they're able to get through right now, and then just kind of gear up for that second half, really start at home, try to stack up a couple wins, and then hopefully run away with it there in the second half.
Yeah, we just finished a road trip, and we'll talk about that as we recap what we just went through in those 11 days. But what you need to know is that was one of 2 road trips this year for the Shrimp. They have 3 road games here at the end of the first half, but the second half is loaded with home games for the Shrimp, and we'll talk about that as well. But let's talk about the recap of the past 11 days. Jayce, is on Wednesday, the Pistol Shrimp had their first off day in 10 days. We're sitting here on a Thursday. That's when you'll probably watch it. You might be watching it on a Friday, though. You never know when you take in the Shrimply Good podcast. But what you're seeing here is a Thursday recording, and after we just had an off day Wednesday, and we all enjoyed now 2 off days in a row. But the Pistol Shrimp had their first off day after 10 days. They played 11 games in a row, and the Pistol Shrimp went 4-7 over those 11 games. So that's why we're sitting here now. They had a chance against the Lumber Kings. They were starting to inch up on them. They went 5-5 over a 10-game stand that they had as well. So, the Pistol Shrimp had their opportunities, but 4-7 over their 11 games. But some highlights from that road trip, those 11 games as well, Jayce. We saw some pretty good things from the Pistol Shrimp.
Yeah, absolutely. With where we're sitting at the season, don't have to focus too much on the losses, just kind of focus on the wins and what went right in those games. And one of those was an 11-1 win over Normal at home. That was just a wire-to-wire victory for the Pistol Shrimp. Obviously, starting pitching got it done. The guys out of the bullpen got it done, and your offense is able to put up those 11 runs, and you run away with that. Then there was an 8-4 win on the road over Alton. That came courtesy of a Nick Chavez 9th inning grand slam. He came into that game in that top of that 9th inning, hit that grand slam, and it tied 4-4 ball game, ended up getting that win. So that was huge for him to come in and get that one done for the Pistol Shrimp. And then the last 2 games that everybody out there saw at home against Lafayette, 17-7 and 14-9. So offensive explosions for the Pistol Shrimp in those 2 games. They scored 31 runs on 31 hits. That's well balanced in those 2 games. In game 1, all 9 starters recorded a hit and scored a run. In game 2, all 9 starters recorded a hit. 8 of 9 scored a run, and 8 of 9 also recorded an RBI. So just obviously gave up a little bit of runs. You gave up 15 runs in those 2 games, but with your offense performing at that level, at that peak, really you can get the job done as long as you're going out there consistently getting outs, not giving up those free passes, not letting those innings snowball. And in one of, I believe it was that first game, the 17-7 game, Pistol Shrimp were down, 7-3, scored 13 runs in the 6th inning to come back, and all of a sudden we're talking about 10-run territory. Just came out of nowhere.
They were trailing at points in both of those wins against Lafayette. That first one was a little more interesting because they jumped out to a 4-1 lead, and then it was 7-4, and then it was very quickly 17-7. Like bam, we scored 13 runs in the 6th inning, and the game was over. But the interesting part, like you said there, Jayce, is one, I've never seen a lineup do that consistently. It was the same 9 for both games, and they both games just did that. The funny part is you said 31 runs on 31 hits. Well, they scored 14 runs on 17 hits and then 17 runs on 14 hits was the weird part about that. Like you just flipped it over. It was weird in general. But I've never seen back-to-back game starters do that. Like it's a feat to have everyone can score a run and record a hit. Like that's one thing to everyone score a run or everyone record a hit, but to do it in one game, that's very exciting and something you don't see very often. And then to do it again the next day and also throw in an RBI for that one and just miss all 9 in both. It was just a ridiculous feat for the Pistol Shrimp. So the offense is really exploding, but offense is exploding across the prospect league as well. So the Pistol Shrimp are kind of just trying to keep pace with the rest of the league, but there's been some good things for the Shrimp as well. And I think that's just where we kind of want to leave it with that first half. We're going to do 3 more games as well, but I think that's a solid recap of, hey, those are the important things you need to know. Those are the highlights. The Pistol Shrimp offense is up. The pitching has been good as well, but it's a little down as of late because, well, everyone's pitching is a little down as of late, it seems like. So the Pistol Shrimp have some good bones to get in there as well. But yeah, so finishing off the end of the first half this week, we'll do 3 games and we'll get to that as well. But what you need to know, really, the quick, just a snapshot for you is first half's going to end and the Pistol Shrimp are going to have 17 home games across the remaining second half. They've played 11 home games so far. I think that's crazy, but also it doesn't seem very much because we're a month into the season. So we'll play 17 home games, 15 of them in July and then 2 in August. So really, the Pistol Shrimp have so much left to do here at Schweickert Stadium this season and so much baseball left to play. We finished the first half, which seems like very quickly, but the Pistol Shrimp, there's a lot of baseball left to play. And that's the exciting part about the Prospect League is you can just move right along into the second half of the season with a fresh start. But let's look at what the Pistol Shrimp did in the first half, Jayce. Let's look at some current season stats.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be good for the Pistol Shrimp, obviously, to have those more games at home in the second half of the season, because at home, they've been an above average team. They're 7-4 with that home record, 10-14 overall. That means they are just 3-10 away from Schweickert Stadium. With those offensive outputs, the numbers are up as far as the offensive side of things for the Shrimp. A team 285 average, good for 4th in the Prospect League. 170 runs scored, 4th in the Prospect League. 229 hits, 3rd in the Prospect League. 145 walks, 2nd, and a 409 on base percentage. That's good for 4th in the Prospect League as well. So hitting a little inflated by those last couple of games, but as we talked about, hitting is up throughout, and you're just trying to keep pace offensively in this league.
Yeah, they've just been steadily climbing as well in the hitting categories. And they had a real slow start to the season as well. They kind of jumped out hot. We had a 10-run rule early on, but it was a slow kind of pace where the pitching was doing really well and the hitting was like, oh, we're just not doing enough. And then the script just flipped where the hitting was like, all right, the pitchers are giving up a little more runs than we'd like. Let's score 17 and 14 in a game. Let's put up some crooked numbers ourselves.
Let's do what we got to do.
But that pitching from where it is and from where it's been across the season, actually some good numbers right now. At 5.93 ERA, that's 8th in the league. Strikeouts are still up. They were pacing the league in strikeouts, but now 3rd at 209. 185 hits so far on the mound, though. That's only 2nd in the league. So what the team's really done a good job of limiting hits, limiting hard contact, striking guys out with a good ERA across the board, but walks are up for the Pistol Shrimp on the mound. So that's kind of the thing we want to look at. Even though this team is walking a lot, they're giving up a lot of walks as well. But there's other things that have kind of just like confused the Pistol Shrimp season as well, made it interesting as well. As fielding percentage has just been up and down for the Shrimp. They've been as high as 3rd. They've been as low as 15th. It's been all over the place. But currently sitting middle of the pack, 10th in the league at 9.51. But 22 double plays for the Shrimp this season. I'm not surprised by that number because it feels like we turn at least one double play every game. So they're 3rd in the league with 22 double plays. They're just 3 off the lead in the league as well. So the Pistol Shrimp have done a lot of good stuff on the defensive end of taking advantage of opportunities. They've done so on the pitching end of getting some good strikeouts, limiting some hits. But that offense just continues to climb. And I think it's going to kind of be the catalyst for the second half of the Shrimp is how far can you push that offense and can you get your pitching to settle a bit as we get some new pitchers in the second half as well. But let's look at some top 10 leaderboards for the Shrimp. We'll start on the batting side of things. There's only one man in the top 10. We usually go through this, Jason. There's a boatload, and I think it's a story of a tough first half for the Pistol Shrimp in terms of hitting, even though it's coming strong on the end. Only one man sits in the top 10 in all the batting leaderboards in the Prospect League for the Shrimp. That's Tyler Dorsch, who's tied for 10th in walks at 17 this season. But I do want to highlight a few notable names for the Shrimp who had a really good first half. We'll start off with Luis Perona, who's led off most games this season for the Shrimp. He's going to start his second half. There's three games left. We'll continue to say that. But this is really our first half recap, second half preview. So we're going to keep using those words. Batting .311 heading into the second half of the season. He's just been fantastic. His .424 on base percentage has been great. 16 walks is second on the team, only behind Dorsch. He's also got 23 hits. That's the team lead. Some other big names. Mac Handren came on about midway through that second half, joining the team. He's just been phenomenal. A .345 hitter. He's got now 2 home runs and 5 RBIs, or 5 doubles, 2 home runs, and 18 RBIs. That's the team lead. And then some other notables as well. Cody Kashimoto has been great, now hitting .378 on the season. Justin Rios is hitting .361 on the season. And Logan Delgado is hitting .394 on the season. So you're talking about notable players in this league. There's a few others I'll get to as well, but those are the ones I really wanted to focus in on some really good offensive outputs for the Shrimp through the first half of the season. I mean, Delgado's batting 394. Like, that's just ridiculous. So we're at really, really good numbers for the Shrimp on the hitting side of things, but it's the same thing on the pitching side of things, Jayce.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little bit more guys kind of making that appearance in the top 10. And I think on the hitting side of things, it just kind of speaks to how well-rounded the offense has been, where it's not kind of you're leaning on this one or two guys in the middle of the lineup. It has been 1 through 9 who's been putting out there that has been putting up numbers. And I think that really speaks to how well-rounded this team has been so far. And that really kind of transitions over to the pitching side of things. And that's Sebastian Gonzalez, third in innings pitched with 28 2/3. He's been used a lot because he's been effective for the Pistol Shrimp going out there. David Andolina is sixth in innings pitched at 24 2/3. Sebastian Gonzalez continues to lead the Prospect League in strikeouts with 43, followed by David Andolina, once again, fifth in strikeouts with 29. And Sebastian Gonzalez is currently first in Ks per 9 innings at 13.66. Just an absolutely ridiculous number. We talk about the amount of innings that he's actually worked so far this season. And Sebastian Gonzalez second in ERA with a 1.27. So Seabass continues to lead that attack on the pitching side of things, but there's other guys that are popping up, David Andolina, and some other guys getting mixed in the back half of that bullpen that have had really good seasons so far. And we're going to be looking to really be a huge part of the second half push for the Pistol Shrimp.
Yeah, that K9 for Seabass is kind of, I wanted to point out that Noah Schultz's K9 last year was 15. It was a little over 15. Yeah. So if you want to know how good that K9 is, I think that tells you enough that you need to know, because Schultz struck out a lot of batters over his time with the Pistol Shrimp. But some notables on the pitching staff, those are the two I wanted to highlight as well. We'll talk about a few others, but those are the two pacing this Pistol Shrimp team. Seabass at 1.27 ERA is just ridiculous, isn't it? In those 28 and a third innings of work. He's just been fantastic. Andolina has been the ace for the Shrimp on the starting, as Seabass has kind of had a hybrid role, starting some, relieving in some. He's got now 8 appearances in the season compared to Andolina. And then we've got a few others who are starting to make a push as well. We're looking for them to settle in the second half. That's Shannon and Rios, the vets here for the Shrimp. Yeah, they've had a nice first half, but not always up to their standards in the first half as well. So that's the two we're looking for to settle in. Herzog still hurt as well. You know, we'll keep an update on that. He's supposed to be that workhorse for the Shrimp as well, hoping to get him back at some point in the second half. That's an arm we're missing right now. And then we're looking at other guys as well to make an impact. Juju Thompson comes to mind. Judah Zemaitis comes to mind. A few others on the mound as well. We're literally looking for them to have a nice, strong second half this season for the Pistol Shrimp, as we kind of just look to shore up that pitching staff that's really being led by those two top-tier guys. And then you see Rios and Shannon, who have had a nice first half, but could do better in the second half of the season if we see a good push from the Shrimp team. And then a lot of notable names we're looking to make an impact on the pitching side of things as well for the Shrimp. But like you said, I mean, just two guys who are pacing the league in those pitching categories. And that's comparison to when we sit almost every week last year with a really, really good Pistol Shrimp team. We had, I don't know, 10 guys on both pitching and batting every week. We're talking about sitting in the top 10. So we're looking for that second half push from the Shrimp. But you look at those good stats, and that tells you what's going on around the Prospect League, is because everyone's stats are really high on the batting side of things. So that's why you don't see any of the Pistol Shrimp in that, but you do see both Seabass and Andolina in the top 10 because they've been so good on the mound, which is kind of, I don't want to say tough to find in the Prospect League this season, but it's been more difficult to find a top flight ace. There's a few guys who are standing out, but it's a battle. It is a grind for some of the pitchers in the league this year. So we're just kind of trying to see where the Pistol Shrimp will fall in the second half, but that gives a good recap of what we've seen so far. So let's finally talk about, Jayce, what's coming up this week for the Pistol Shrimp.
Yeah, absolutely. To close out this week, the Pistol Shrimp will have a couple games at Normal. That is Friday, June 30th. That is a 6:30 first start, followed by Saturday, July 1st at Clinton, 6:30 as well, followed by the one to close out the first half of the season. That is Sunday, July 2nd. That'll be at home against Clinton. There's a 5:35 first pitch on that one. And then followed by, to start that second half of the season, Monday, July 3rd, they'll be doing that against Alton, 4:05 first start for that one. And then Tuesday, July 4th, excuse me.
There you go.
Tuesday, July 4th,
Jayce.
also against Alton. Both those games at home will be 4:05 first starts for that one to get things started in the second half of the season.
Yeah, so 2 road games. The normal road start seems like everyone in this league starts at 6:30, so that's normal for the Shrimp on the road for those 2 games this week. And then those different starts for the Shrimp for 4th of July weekend. We're celebrating the 4th at Schweickert Stadium on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So here's what you need to know about those theme nights coming to Schweickert Stadium. It starts on Sunday, July 2nd. It's movie night at Schweickert Stadium. 5:35 first pitch. Originally was a 4:05 first pitch. We're moving it back in order to play the movie after the game. And that's the exciting part. First time we're doing it.
Yeah.
at Schweickert Stadium. So no, we don't have a big video board or anything, but we can do one of those big blow up screens that you can watch a movie on just like you see anywhere else. So that's what we're doing at Schweickert Stadium. So it's a 5:35 first pitch. Come on, enjoy the game. It'll be movie themed. We'll do kind of movie stuff during the game as a normal theme night kind of stuff. Tony's Butt Shack will be there serving up food. It's Martin Equipment Youth Clinic Participants Recognition Night as well. So if you can participated in the Martin Equipment Pistol Shrimp Youth Clinic, make sure you come out to the game. That is a mouthful, Jayce. I was like, point.
Got to make sure every word gets in there.
Make sure you come out for that one as well. That's Sunday. And then after the game, we're showing the Sandlot on the field. So once the game concludes, we're going to do all of the regular pregame wraps. So make sure you stick around after the game. It's going to be a little bit. We're going to have everything still open, though. You can enjoy the game. And then we're going to show the Sandlot on the field. So kids are going to be up to enjoy. You're going to be able to see it from wherever you are around and on the field as well. So make sure you come out that game. I know there's lots of excitement. For more information on that, make sure you're just going to our website as well. The day of, we'll have a lot of information on that. We always do at pistolshrimpbaseball.com. And then on social media, we already have the Facebook event out, as we always do, to make sure, you can just make sure that you click that and say that you're coming. So you remind yourself, but make sure you're coming out on Sunday. And then Monday and Tuesday, we're doing 4:05 first pitches, as first time we've ever done 4:05 during the weekdays, but it's a good time to do it because it's 4th of July weekend. So on Monday, we're going to do Salute to the Military presented by Can-Am Steel Corporation. That's CSC. 4:05 first pitch. We're going to have a new food vendor out that night. The Philly Factory will be out for the Pistol Shrimp on July 3rd. And then we're going to honor all active and retired military members. The Pistol Shrimp will wear their very popular 4th of July jerseys and USA jerseys and America jerseys, whatever you want to call them, for the second time this season. That's happening on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we're doing an all-American 4th of July celebration. Come out and celebrate the 4th with the Pistol Shrimp. Another 4:05 first pitch. So if you want to do stuff, have a nice lunch with your family, you can still come out to the game, and then you'll still have most of your evening as well, because it should conclude about 7 that night. So 4:05 first pitch, food from Little Bella's that night, and your favorite 4th of July family cookout activities as well. We'll do a wheelbarrow race. We'll do a 3-legged race. We'll have some pie in various forms, is how I'll say that, as the apple pie goes around, but a few notes as well. So as I said before, pistolshrimpbaseball.com, go to our promo schedule to see all of that, to make sure you know what's coming this week and everything else. Every day we have a theme night. You'll get a Facebook, or there's a Facebook event. And then on our website, we also send out an article that tells you everything you need to know about that theme night as well. For Monday, the city of Peru are having their fireworks as well. So that's another reason it's a 4:05 first pitch, because those fireworks will more than likely not happen until our game is over, because it happens once the sun sets, and we're starting at 4:05. So you have the opportunity to come to the game, enjoy the Pistol Shrimp game, and then head to the fireworks as well. So we're giving you everything that you can enjoy for those 2nd and 3rd and 4th of July. We've got 3 jam-packed days. You can enjoy them all at the ballpark for all 3 different food, 2 different teams, 3 different events. It's going to be lots of excitement, fun. And one last note before we get to our favorite part of the Shrimply Good podcast, that USA jersey for the Shrimp, it is back at shoppistolshrimpbaseball.com. You can pre-order it again. You can choose what jersey number you want. It is available out there. So if you missed the first time trying to get your USA jersey, you can get one now. So go ahead there at shoppistolshrimpbaseball.com and get that USA jersey. All right, Jayce, that's all I got. That's a recap of our theme nights. Let's head to everyone's favorite portion of the Shrimply Good podcast. Let's look at the Shrimply Good Players of the Week, presented by Tangled Brewing Company. Jayce, take it away.
Yeah, on the hitter side of things, there's a lot of guys that really kind of bumped their numbers up this last week, guys that are just seeing the ball really well. But we got to give it to Cody Kashimoto. He was fantastic over these last 5 games, 16 at-bats, 8 hits, 7 runs, 3 RBIs, a couple of doubles, 5 walks, a 500 average over this last week, a 625 on-base percentage. Oh, and by the way, he's slugging 619 as well. So Cody Kashimoto, wherever he's finding himself in that lineup, we've been seeing him down at the bottom, kind of in that 9 hole as that second leadoff guy. He's been effective, getting on base, setting the table for the big boys coming up behind him. He's just been fantastic, really all over the ball field, and we got to give it to Cody Kashimoto this week, man.
Yeah, big portion of those 2 big run outputs against the Aviators for Cody Kashimoto. And then really, we were going through and we're looking, there's probably like 5 guys who we're looking at this time around and thinking they have a chance. But Cody, really good job on the run side of things, really good job on the hitting side of things, grabbed 2 doubles and paced the team in walks with 5 as well. So that's why he gets the nod this week for our hitter of the week, presented by Tangled Brewing Company. But the pitcher of the week, that was a little more challenging, Jayce. But we're going to give the nod to Jason Shanner. 2 games this week, an 0-0 win-loss record, only 3 1/3 innings of work, but he was fantastic across those 3 1/3. No hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts for a 0-0 batting average against and a 0-0 ERA. So that's why Jason Shanner is getting the nod. There was only a few. It was a tough week for pitching. So, Shanner's getting the nod with only 3 1/3 innings of work, but he's familiar to this Pistol Shrimp team. He had a really good start. That's what we talked about, a jumping off point for a lot of these pitchers for the Shrimp. A few of them, in case in point, Shanner had a real nice end to what was this last week as we move into the end of the first half and the start of the second half. So those are your 2 Pistol Shrimp, Shrimply Good Players of the Week, presented by Tangled Brewing Company. It's going to Cody Kashimoto and Jason Shanner. Jayce, we're just about done here. We're gonna wrap it up real soon, but I'll hit it over to you. Final thoughts, excitement for the fans. What are you looking forward to this week? We got 3 home games. We got 2 away games. We'll have another off day on Wednesday as well. So we'll be able to talk again in less than a week, in 6 days. So that's exciting. We'll get a little bit back on track for, I believe, let me pull up my schedule real quick. Oh, it is correct. We have an off day every week towards the end, towards this July. So we'll be able to hit you with the Shrimply Good podcast almost every week in July. We'll get back on our regular schedule as we settle in now heading into the second half of the season. But Jayce, final thoughts for the fans before we wrap up this edition of the Shrimply Good podcast.
Yeah, it's been a rough first, half of the season for the Pistol Shrimp and Pistol Shrimp fans, but there's a lot of optimism. You start digging those numbers, you're seeing things really come around, especially on the offensive side of things. And I think over the last couple of years, I think the pitching side has really kind of been our strength as far as Pistol Shrimp baseball, but it's nice to see things change. We know that pitching can come around. Obviously, we have great coaching around here, and we know it's just a matter of time before they put things together. So a lot of home games, a lot still left to play for. It's a long season in the Prospect League, and this season is far from over. So it's going to be a lot of exciting baseball coming from the Pistol Shrimp this season.
I agree with everything you said. It should be a fun second half. So you haven't made it out to Schweickert Stadium, make sure you make it out to the brand new Schweickert Stadium at Veterans Memorial Park in Peru. We hope to see you at the ballpark this week. 3 home games for the Shrimp: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5:35, 4:05, 4:05, all early, all kind of off days for a lot of people as well. So make sure you get out to the ballpark and enjoy that 4th of July weekend with the Pistol Shrimp. But if you can't make it to the game, you can always listen live for free. Obviously, it's radio for the Pistol Shrimp Radio on 103.9 WLPO, online, on your phone, on your radio, in your car, however you listen. Make sure you're tuning into Pistol Shrimp baseball games on home and away at 103.9 WLPO. And you can always watch home and away, but we recommend the home games. Me and Jayce are on the air on Prospect League TV. To subscribe and see that, go to prospectleague.tv to learn more and see me and Jayce at all the Pistol Shrimp home games. But thank you for stopping by episode 3 of the Shrimply Good podcast for the 2023 season. Fear the Claw, and we'll see you next time.
Do the Pistol Shrimp. Do the Pistol Shrimp.